Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Tuesday Night Animal Talk with Back to Basics Dog Training. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Leon. I'm from Back to Basics Dog Training, and I was really hoping to have a guest on here. They're having some technical problems, so we're going to start going into some of the stuff. Hopefully, we'll be able to discuss in a little bit. So, as you know, this format is geared towards animals in general. It's not about dog training necessarily. It's not about dog rescue or cat rescue or this rescue. It's about animals. So this week's guest, hopefully she'll be here shortly, is supposed to be Angie from Minnie's Missions. Um, and like I said, unfortunately, she's having some internet connections where she is remotely in Pennsylvania. But we're going to start talking about it, and hopefully she'll join us. If not, we'll bounce around and we'll figure out some other stuff. So, meanwhile, if you're here watching me now or later on the replay, pop in a comment. Let me know where you're watching from. Um, Give me a shout out, say hi. Hopefully, we'll see Angie shortly and we can have a conversation with her. So, if anybody's been following me on this venture of mine on this bi weekly show, knows that Angie was my first guest for Minnie's Missions Rescue. And a lot of good things came from that broadcast. So that's why we decided to do another one because we still want to be able to share the information out to the public, what's going on with the horses. So a backstory on what's going on. Angie and her partner Joe ran into a gentleman who was a farmer, older gentleman who had some issues with he had an accident on the farm. He got hurt. He wasn't able to care for the animals on his farm. He's got about 150 acres somewhere up in Pennsylvania. Um, and he had a bunch of mini horses basically running around the 150 acres. And basically, they were as close to, I'm going to use the dog terms because I'm a little bit more familiar with those than I am with the animal terms. But they're definitely on the more on the feral side. I'm going to try to send Angie the invite again. Just give me 1 second here, guys. I apologize. Um, just give me 1 second. I just got to bounce around here a little bit, but we'll continue to talk while I bounce. Um, so, long story short, Angie and Joe went up to the gentleman's property and he showed them he had about 50 or 60 horses on the property. It was a ridiculous amount of horses, of these miniature horses, um, on the property, and none of them were handled. They were as close to feral as possible, if that makes sense to you guys. Um, Sorry, I sent an email, and that's what the noise was. Um, just bear with me. I'm trying to get back to my main screen here. Nothing like doing things on the fly here, guys. Angie is here answering comments, so that means hopefully her thing here is going to start working soon. That would be the best case scenario. But again, we're just going to go with it. So anyway, so she met up with the showman, and there's 40, 50, 60 horses on this 150 acres of property. And there she is. I see her. So let's bring Angie in right away and give a good shout out to Angie. Hey, welcome. Can you hear me? I don't know if I'm having some internet issues. I know she's on a pretty bad internet. Angie, can you hear me? And give a good shout out to Angie. You're welcome. All right. Can you hear me? I can't hear Angie, but I'm hearing myself. Okay. I'm having some internet issues. I know she's on a. And it's almost like a delay. You have your headphones plugged in? Give me a nod. Go to the little cog at the bottom, Angie, and make sure it's showing the headphones and which mic you're using. Try going. Try going in and going back out. In the meantime, I'm going to minimize you here because I'm getting a lot of feedback. Um, Angie, if you can hear me, try going back. Get out of the stream and go back in, and we'll try it again. Um, so the horses were basically running wild on this property, and Angie and Joe decided they were going to help place these horses, these miniature horses. They've done a phenomenal job, guys. They are not a 501c3 or whatever it is. They are just people who care about animals that are trying to do their best with these animals, and they've taken this burden on themselves to pull the horses from the property, get them used to the halter, get them used to being handled by people. I mean, these horses know nothing. They're as close, like I said, as close to feral as possible. Um, and they've been doing this more of the kindness of the heart. I mean, they have the GoFundMe page, which I put up there last week, and I will definitely put it in the comments of this when we're all done here on all the different platforms. We'll put up the comments on there. And we're they pulling these horses, getting them vetted. Angie's back, so hopefully, let's try this. Angie, are you there? Still can't hear you. Can you hear me on your headphones? I Yeah, but I don't hear you. For some reason, I hear myself. Oh, wait, I started to hear noise. I think I
Now?
hear you. Now I hear you. Well,
Yay!
hey, welcome, Angie.
Thank you.
Uh, no problem. So, as you could, I don't know how much you heard me trying to broadcast and fumble my way through this as we're trying to fix these technical difficulties. But you know what? It's all good. It's where we want to be. We're all here together. So, Angie, I started going through since the last time we were together on this, which you were my first guest. Um, you have I started over the story basically, and basically, I told people that we have some since our last broadcast, which was a month ago.
Yeah, about.
About a month ago, you've adopted out a bunch of horses since that.
Yes, we have.
Hopefully, this broadcast, this stream, has definitely helped that cause.
Yes.
Um, what's been going on since the last time we had the pleasure of chatting?
Well, first off, thank you for having me again. And yes, it was very helpful to broadcast on your show and to get the word out there and have, the people who follow you share us and share our page and share our mission and exactly what we're doing, trying to save these miniature horses. So every little bit helps. Sharing does help tremendously. It's the only way for us to get the word out there. And, the more it gets out there, the better it is, the more uh, animals will get adopted. And these miniature horses, we really wanted to get them adopted into their new homes by September. This way they could settle in and, if they need any extra medical care or any extra weight put on them for the winter, the new owners, the new adopters can do that. They can address, any issues that they need and they get to know the horses. So, it all works out well. We did uh, adopt out about 17 horses.
Wow.
Yeah, 17 horses. A fewer babies in that mix, and 17 and counting. We have a couple of adoptions that are pending, but the unfortunate part is that there's still about 18 horses still running loose on the farm, all mixed together, and we don't know what's going to happen with them. We're trying to adopt out as many as we can, as fast as we can into good, safe, loving homes. And then we could bring more down to my property. And it's been working, and we did adopt out, quite a bit, but we still got, we're at the halfway point. We still got more to go.
Yep. So, one thing is, like you said, we're sharing this out on multiple platforms. I just want to give a shout out to Michelle from Remember Me Rescue, who has allowed me to share this on her Facebook page, which is a dog
Awesome.
rescue up in New York. because, like I said in the very beginning, everybody knows Back to Basics is a dog training company, but Angie from Angel Touch Pet Spa, um, you know, and a fellow dog trainer, but we're about the animals in this world. It's not necessarily
Yes.
just about the dogs or the cats. That those are the primary focus on everybody is the dogs and the cats. But there's other animals out there that need our help and our assistance. And as the old cliche goes, we need to be the voice for the voiceless.
Yes.
Um, so, I mean, I commend you guys on what you're doing up there. Like I said, I had the privilege of being up there right before we went live a couple of weeks, about a month ago. Um, it's a lot of work, guys. You don't understand it's blood, sweat, and tears going into this rescue, and a lot of happiness when they get adopted.
Yes.
Um, we talked about the sorrow the last time. I'm not going to get back into that, but there is some frustration that goes along with the process. I the first time I think I was very nice about talking about the farm, but I just want to give you a clue what these horses are guys are living with. That this is why Angie needs some help out here. Um, is they're living on approximately 150 acres,
Yes. An old cow pasture.
an old cow
150
pasture
acres.
that is turned
Mhm.
into a used car part
We
haven.
call it a car junkyard.
It's a junkyard. There's cars all over the property. That people go there, they buy the parts from the farmer. Uh,
Mhm.
it's not. I mean, you're talking cars, guys. You're talking
Yeah, it's
rusted
not
stuff.
safe.
It's not safe for these horses, and they're trampling around in it. Um, that's why there's a sense of urgency because now, come winter time, especially up in the mountains of Pennsylvania, there's going to be snow. The horses aren't going to see
Mhm.
what they're walking on. I mean, it's a recipe for disaster, and there's
Yes.
a sense of urgency in this, um, and the frustration of not only that, but not everybody being on the same page has
Yeah.
caused quite a stir up there. So
Yes.
I'm going to let you talk about it because you know it, you were there, you lived it.
Yeah, circumstances have changed a little bit, and not for the better. I when I first got into this, I really felt like I was helping an elderly gentleman who hurt himself and couldn't do right by these animals because he couldn't physically do it, and he didn't have the farm hands that he needed, and my intention was true. I went there with a kind heart, trying to help this gentleman, me and my friend and my partner Joe. We did that. And as time went on, we started seeing little things, little red flags, as you may say, or things that were just concerning. And I really don't want to put anybody down, but it's just I do things a different way. When I take an animal into my care, I do what's best for the animal. I'm always looking for, you know, uh, how the animal is health wise, any safety precautions I should take. I should definitely do it, and I try to keep animals as safe and healthy as possible. Um, and I do things with a lot of patience and compassion. I don't want to force the animals to do something. I take my time and I try to lure them. It's a dog training technique where you lure them into doing something and you reward. And it kind of works out. It sets a positive tone, especially for animals that haven't been handled. And these guys have not been handled. They have not been abused, which is a great thing. So they're not afraid of people. Um, but it takes time to build trust in any relationship. So, this farmer had a friend who he allowed to take away uh, the babies that the mares had, and when he took them away, he obviously took them away too young, and he also took them away a little. Um, just not in a positive way.
I'll say it, inhumane way as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah,
I'm the
maybe.
host. I'm allowed to say what I want.
Yeah, I mean, we basically have a difference of opinion with the farmer. I would have never done it that way. I would have eased the transition between, weaning a baby away from its mother. I wouldn't just, separate it completely. And I don't want to say violently because it wasn't violent, but it was
Abrupt, rough.
abrupt. word. It was a very abrupt. They chased the horses on ATVs, and the way they transport them wasn't safe. And I just didn't agree, and I expressed my concerns, and I expressed them with a lot of emotion, because I love the animals, and I begged and pleaded with the farmer to let them be with their moms a little bit longer, a month or two longer. That's all they need. I offered to pay the farmer double the price that he was asking for them, and it didn't work out. He just was, of the mindset, what's done is done. Those are his exact words to me, and so there's been a little bit of a falling out between me and the farmer, and I'm still keeping lines of communication open because as much as I would love to walk away and and just be done with it and lick my wounds, so to speak, I can't because I
Mhm.
just love the animals and I have to move forward. I have to keep trying. If I don't keep trying, who's going to? The authorities obviously can't do anything because there is food, shelter, water. Um, that's all that you require here in Pennsylvania. It's not very strong laws for any of the animals that are especially considered, farm animals, because that's what they are. They're considered farm animals. They're not considered a companion animal, even though they are companions a lot of the times.
Right. Well, I know a couple of the horses, or one or two. I don't remember what it exactly was that you actually adopted out to somebody who's joined us on the last episode. I think made the
Yes.
horse one or two of the horses. They're working towards being therapy
Yes,
horses.
they are. Yep. Yes, they are.
So
Two of them went to therapy. They're going to be therapy horses, and they're great. And it's not just emotional support. It teaches, the size of these horses really, really help. Yeah, there she is right now.
yeah. So here we go. So we're talking about you. I hope that's okay. I'm going to say your name wrong because I'm horrible. Tamara.
Yes.
Um, yeah. Thank you for adopting the horses from Angie. From the bottom of my heart, thank you, thank you, thank you. When I hear these success stories being, 700, 800 miles away from my dear friends, it
Hmm.
does my heart good. And when she
Yeah.
runs into problems like she did with the farmer, and it doesn't do my heart good, and then I'm wishing I was there. But sometimes I think it's better that I'm six, 700 miles away.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Um,
and a lot of it wasn't the farmer himself. A lot of it was the friend. He was not very kind to me, and in fact, he was very verbally abusive to me, and it just I don't know why. I'm just here to help the animals, but sometimes people are people, and they have their own agenda, and if they think you're in their way, or if they think you're gonna, you know, uh, hinder them in some aspect, they take it out on you, and it's a shame. It's a shame because we really want to help the animals, and that's all our intention is. And we thought we were helping the farmer too. We thought we were making his life a little bit easier, where he wouldn't have to worry about these animals during the winter.
Right, and it's sad because as a human and as the human breed, we can learn so much from actually watching these animals, and
Yes,
actually mimicking their lives instead of having them try to mimic our lives. And I've said this before. I know Angie's heard, probably sick of hearing me say this, but the animals are our best teacher. They survived.
absolutely.
They survived in this world long before we have, and longer. So they understand this better than we do. And I wish people would learn to, really listen to what the animals are saying to us. But you also did, on when you were on the property, you found some full size horses. Um,
Yeah. Yes.
and so
There
we were
were.
talking about minis, but I want people to understand this is a lot bigger than mini. It's not mini, guys. So go ahead, Angie. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Yeah, it's we also helped out with four full-size horses, or three of them were extra size. They were Belgians, two Belgians, a Halflinger, and a thoroughbred, which I believe is a thoroughbred mix. That one had an eye injury, and we had the vet go there. It took a while for the vet to go there. Her car broke down, So the treatment was delayed. The first treatment was delayed, and then the medicine for the eye had to be put in 3-4 times a day. And the farmer really can't move around and get the medicine in. And I'm an hour away from the farm, so it was virtually impossible for me to get there. And the farmer did say he was putting it in, or he was having help, or he would get the medicine in, and everything's fine and okay. And I don't know if that's just the mentality of what he thinks is fine and okay, or if he really believes that he put the medicine in already. I don't know, but this is kind of what we're working with. Nothing is straightforward. Nothing is um as it seems. You always have to kind of figure it out. Did he put the medicine? Did he not put the medicine? So we ended up taking that mare back to my place, and that would be the third uh, large horse that we removed from this farmer's property. This is my Coco Loco. I love that little guy. He's up for adoption. He's a stallion, only 34 inches, very friendly. Uh,
Sorry, I actually didn't need to put that one up yet. I was going to do that later, so I'm going to hide it now.
yeah, okay. So before that, there was a blind halflinger that was out running loose on the neighbor's property in a field, but the neighbors are out of towners and they don't live there full time. So this blind halflinger has been living in that field for quite some time, and I really believe that guy wanted he wanted to get on that trailer, and he wanted to go home to his forever home, which he did, and it was amazing because there's something about them energy wise where they know they're going someplace good, and they just step right on the trailer. And you got to remember, these horses haven't been on trailers in years, if ever. And the big horses, they just kind of got it. They just couldn't wait to get on the trailer and go to their forever home. And we have a really, really kind-hearted person that I have to acknowledge, Jen. And she took three of the big horses, 3 out of the 4, and she reunited them because they used to be together until a miniature stallion chased the halflinger away, and he went through a fence last winter, or some story like that, and he's been by himself, which is really sad. And she reunited them, and I have the story on Minnie's Mission. You could look at it and you could see the guys, and you could just see how happy they are. So it's really amazing that somebody would step up and take 3 full-size horses, a couple of them extra large, and just adopt them and put them all together because of the love of the animals, and doing the right thing and helping them. And it's just really amazing, and it's so great to see.
Oh, sorry, I was in the middle of, I was trying to find this picture. This is the
Yes,
picture.
there it is. There they
Sorry,
are.
guys. So while Angie was telling the story, I was trying to pull up pictures. And if anybody knows me, this modern technology and we're learning together. But these are the horses. They were separated for how long, did you say? I'm sorry.
The halflinger was away from him for about a year because I think it happened last year, and he's been living in a field by himself, down the road from the old farmer's property. And first of all, he's blind, so that had to be scary in itself. And he was chased by a stallion, so he never knew where the stallion was coming from. So, it had to be hard on him. And when just a little bit of kindness, that's all it took, was a little bit of kindness.
You see the one with the halty on his nose?
He is,
Can you see the
I,
picture?
I see the picture. It's a little small. I believe he is,
Yeah, I'll give it full screen, see if that helps any.
yeah. This one's, I believe the one that needs some weight put on that, I believe that's
In the
Duke. He's,
middle?
he's the older guy. Yep. I
Yep.
believe this is the halflinger over here with his head down.
With his
And
head
this,
down.
Yeah, with his head down eating, and the darker one is Ruby. She's a Belgian, and she was part of that whole group. They were all together, including with the thoroughbred that I have on my property. That I'm still treating the eye. It's a very um, long process to get the scarring away from the eye. Hopefully, it'll heal. So they're all together, and it's great. And I mean, I don't know if Jen's listening today, but she did an amazing job with them, and
Well,
they're
Jen, if
so
you're listening,
happy.
give us a shout out, Jen. Um,
Yes,
we appreciate everything that you've done to help Angie in this cause. I know you guys have been putting in a huge, huge effort.
yes,
Um, and everybody together has been doing it, it's not just
right,
Angie and Joe.
right.
I know this is up again. I'm pull it down for now because we're going to talk about that young man in a little bit. Um, so again, if you're all watching us live now, give us a shout out. Let us know you're here. Um, so as you get into things like anything else in life, you open up a can of worms. So you originally thought you were getting mini horses, then you ended up with the full size. I
Right.
met, I think I met Ruby when I was up
Ru
there.
Ruby was across the street. I don't know if you met
Right.
her.
Yeah, she
You
came
met
over to the fence.
Oh, yes, yes,
Right. She was across the street with another one.
yes,
And they're big. Guys, they're big.
yes.
I mean, I'm
She's
a big
big.
guy. They made me look kind of small.
Yeah,
Um, so,
and they're beautiful. They're
oh,
beautiful horses, and I mean, I believe all horses are beautiful. I'm kind of biased.
all animals,
All animals, yes.
except for one species, which I won't mention
Ah,
because they have some ugly tendencies.
but
Um,
yeah, it's just uh, it's a lot, but we do have tremendous support and tremendous help. I appreciate the people who are helping us. I really do. I can't thank them enough. Somebody who's adopting Diablo.
yeah, let's pull them up
they
now.
they dropped off hay. No, that's Coco Loco.
Sorry. I don't think I have a picture of Diablo. Sorry.
Diablo's the white one with the brown head.
Yeah, I'll have to
So
look for it.
he was labeled as a troublemaker. He's actually the one who chased the halflinger, out of the pen.
So,
Um,
who labeled him a troublemaker?
the farmer, because they thought he was jumping fences, and that's what they told us. He was jumping fences, and he was going into the cow pasture, and he was going into the other pasture with the other horses, and he was chasing this horse away and that horse away. But they're stallions. What do you expect them to do? That this is what they do. They protect their mares and they fight for territory. But he wasn't jumping the fences. I ended up walking the fences and I found three different holes in the fence. But at first I found one and they fixed it. And then neighbors were calling up and saying, "Hey, come get the horses. Well, I thought you were getting to get the horses." And I'm like, "I did. I just left them in the pen. They can't be out. It's impossible." And then we would go drive around, which was it wasn't around the block. It was about 2 miles down the road, and there was a couple of horses there, and we were like, "How are they getting out?" We I said there has to be another hole in the fence because it ended up being four of them when we thought it was three of them. So I found the other holes in the fence, and they were fixed, and then we took a couple of them back to my property a few days later. So there's no more escapees, thank God. But when you have, 150 acres fenced in and an old pasture, it takes maintenance. You got to walk the fence line. There is no way. There is no way that that'll last. Things can happen. We have all these storms, tree branches fall, other animals could run through them or dig under, or you gotta protect your animals. I mean,
Right.
that's the
Well,
way that I feel.
it's like anything else. I mean, you're
Mhm.
taking a responsibility to put these animals on your property,
Yes.
maintain your property. And I used to say, for those who know me from Long Island days, I used to do dog boarding in my house.
Hmm.
Every week or every other week, I walked three quarters, and now it's not 150 acres, but I had three-quarters of an acre fenced in. I walked my fence perimeter at least every other week, and if there was a storm that came through, right after a storm, because I
Right.
was going to take responsibility for these people's dogs, and I'll be damned if they're going to get out on my watch.
Right.
And that's part of
Absolutely.
caring about the animals and caring
Hmm.
about their survival. You know,
Right.
you know, it kills me that people just don't take these responsibilities. And I know I get a lot more passionate. That's why, not a lot more passionate. I get a lot more.
Expressive.
Yes, that's a good way to put it. Thank you. Um, about certain things that I just think humans are just they don't give they have that I don't give a crap attitude, and the humans aren't the ones suffering. It's these poor animals that can't defend themselves or speak for themselves.
Well,
So
a lot
let
of I was
God,
going to say a lot of people don't believe that animals have feelings or souls. A lot of people just believe that they're there for our use, whether it's food, leather, or milk, or people feel like we dominate them. It's up to us to to use them, and they feel like there's no responsibility. Um, but there is a responsibility,
huge responsibility.
even if you're using them for food. I mean, let's face it. I'm not a vegetarian. I eat meat. Okay, so there's a huge responsibility towards animals, but I believe that animals should be treated humanely. You
Right,
know, they shouldn't have to suffer. Why suffer? What's the
right.
point of that? You know, it's not right. They should be. The laws should be modified. They should be changed, especially here in Pennsylvania.
Down here
There's a
too.
lot of there's a lot of things that go on here, and it's you don't have enough humane officers investigating. They're limited. They have limited time to inspect the property and find what's going on. They have limited resources. If they did find what's going, let's say they were able to find something wrong with this property and they wanted to confiscate, the 50 animals on the property. They have no place to put them. Where would they put them? There is
Right.
no place.
Yeah,
So
and I remember.
they don't have it.
Right, I remember us having this conversation back when we were both on Long Island about the grooming world, and and if somebody registered a complaint about a grooming shop, and
Mhm,
I asked you, and I think you told me in the whole state of New York, which includes from pretty much Canada down to the tip of Montauk,
mhm.
there was two people
Oh,
responsible
oh,
for
the
for
USDA.
for checking on grooming
Yeah.
shops in the state of New York.
When
And
what Go on.
uh,
Sorry.
so, at that point, I realized, our either local government or federal government, and this is not about a political thing, just do not put the onus on animal well-being, animal care, animal husbandry, whatever words we want to use. We can make ourselves sound really freaking fancy, but I'm not a fancy guy. Um, that our local government, federal government, whatever, there is no consequence for somebody, in my opinion, that treated these mini horses like they were a commodity,
Right.
that they're not a living, breathing creature, and they are.
Mhm.
And like you said, I don't care if you're raising them for feeding purposes or whatever. They still need to be treated with respect and the dignity that these majestic animals are. And that's any animal. I don't care if it's a freaking field mouse. They,
Right.
they survive better than we do on our own. You
Well,
know,
why abuse it? Why abuse animals? Why neglect them to the point where, they starve to death or get caught on barbed wire, because the barbed wire wasn't looked after, the fence wasn't looked after. I mean, most horse people won't use barbed wire. They usually use that for the cow pastures. But times have changed, and yes, it is an expense. Absolutely, barbed wire would be the cheapest way to go, but there's a lot of risk with that. There's a lot of risk with all kinds of fences. But you try to do the best you can with what you have. And there was no reason to have all these horses running loose on 150 acres. You could have divided that. You could have kept them separate. You didn't have to have the mares with the stallions. But again, when I first thought this gentleman had an issue, I thought it was just a population explosion because some horses got over the fence, the males got over, and of course, there was a population explosion, and he was hurt, and he couldn't separate them, and didn't have the help. I really believed that that was what was going on here, but apparently, as time goes on, it wasn't. You know, and I saw the junk cars, I saw the car parts, and the amount of them, but I just figured, hey, he's an older gentleman. Maybe he's just likes the cars, or I didn't judge. It's not my place to judge anyone. But little by little, I found out more and more things, and um, I even tried to educate the gentleman, saying, "Look, if your intention was to sell these horses, you should, keep the stallions separate from the mares. You should get papered horses. You should get desirable horses that people want to show or register and get points on, and you know, you wanted to do it properly. If you're going to breed responsibly, breed properly. Don't line breed. Don't have inbred ponies. Pay attention to what you're doing. Have quality. I'm not against breeders, as a lot of rescue people are. I'm not. I really aren't. But for these rescue animals who have been breeding probably since they've been able to have their first heat, come on, they don't need to be bred. All the mares are probably already pregnant anyway. So, I really prefer a home where they're not going to just breed them. Maybe a few years down the road, if you have a young one and you have a papered stallion, and you want to, you know, breed some sort of, you know, spectacular horse, because everybody thinks their horses are spectacular. I bred this one with that one. This is the dame. This is the sire. Everybody thinks that, but there are great quality horses out there. And I just feel that if you're going to have animals, just be responsible. And if you can't be responsible, or if you don't know, there's a lot of people who don't know. There's a lot of new dog owners since COVID. And a
Yes.
lot of people don't know how to take care of them, and a lot of people don't know how to train them or housebreak them. And sometimes people are embarrassed to ask for help because they don't want to be looked down upon. They don't want to be a bad pet parent. But you got to ask help. You got to research. You got to look out there. Everybody has their own ways of training animals, and disciplining animals, and setting rules and boundaries. And there's some people who don't set any rules and boundaries. But
Keeps you busy.
yeah, you just gotta educate yourself, because you're doing it for the animal. If you love the animal, you're gonna find out how to fix a problem, or you're gonna find out how to prevent a problem. And we
Right.
have to do it. We have to do it.
And I agree. Just want to sign out. Cindy, I see your question. That's more geared towards my Saturday morning live question. So if you want to pop on Saturday morning at 11 o'clock, anybody who's watching on any other platforms, every Saturday morning at 11 o'clock on, I don't share it on the mini missions. I want to ask before I did that. My Saturday morning live dog training questions. I didn't know, I don't want to step on toes.
That's
But,
okay.
you know, um, but Cindy, I'll definitely get to that question Saturday if you remind me, because I'll forget it. But that's a Saturday question. That's not for this episode this week. Um, and Angie, you brought up a great point, and it's not only about the animals. Learn to ask for help. I mean, Angie and I have worked together for 8, 9 years now, and there are times I know I've turned around and said, "Angie, listen, I got this. I'm not sure what to do." And
Hmm.
Angie, no problem, no hesitation. And I know Angie's asked me questions.
Yes,
It's a support system. Um,
absolutely.
and that should go further than animals, of course. If you're raising kids and you're not sure what to do with your kid, ask somebody who's been there. People have to put, Angie's partner Joe told me when I first got involved with them that I have to check my ego at the door of Angel Touch. And I remember that. And, it's something I I hear Joe in my head every so often when I find my ego going too much. And it's a great point. Learn to ask for help. You're not sure what to
it's,
do. Check your freaking egos at the doors, folks. Um,
it's hard. It's
it
hard,
is.
and it's not only just about ego, because it also has to do with a lot. I mean, from my own personal experience with independence. I'm a very independent person. I've been a very independent person my whole life. And sometimes when you don't know something, you kind of, I don't know if you're embarrassed or you're unsure. You don't have the the ability. You don't know how to ask somebody for help. You don't know how to approach them. You're afraid that the person will say, well, you figure it out, or you don't know
What are
because
you
you're not.
stupid?
Yeah, you're not used to asking for help, and a lot of people aren't used to asking for help. It's the environment that I grew up in. I had a very strict German father, so it was kind of like everything was his way or the highway. You didn't question things like children do today. You just did what they said. Children are to be seen, not heard. That type of mentality. And so you learn to be independent. You learn to do things on your own, which is great. It is fantastic
Oh
to
yeah.
do things on your own. However, there's a dark side to that, because when you truly need help, you don't know how to ask for it. And you have to actually learn how to ask for help.
Hmm.
And I had some really great friends around me who actually taught me how to ask people for help. Um, they always would offer to help. Leon has helped me numerous times. So as my business partner Joe, he's helped me numerous times as well, and he's been very instrumental in me learning how to ask for help.
Okay.
Because at first I would refuse. No, no, I got this, and I knew damn well I didn't have it, you know. But it was just my way of being. So it's very important, you got to kind of like put your guard down, and you got to ask for help when you don't know something, or research it. I mean, the internet is a great thing, and there's many different opinions on the internet, so you have to sort through a lot of stuff. But if you find somebody that you trust, and who loves you and cares about you, they're going to give you the best advice.
And I want to take that to an example. I know this is off subject of the minis, but I remember, and this opened my eyes. I had an evaluation I had to do on Long Island with 7 German Shepherds
Oh,
that
yes.
because my ego was in my way, I didn't ask for help. And this was not 7 German Shepherds that needed to learn how to sit, stay, come, heel, whatever. There was an issue, major issue, and we're talking aggression issues.
Yeah.
And I think even though I'm the bigger of the crew of the three of us, Joe was ready to get on a ladder and beat the living crap out of me because I refused to ask for help. And thank God they made me ask for help, and they forced me, and it taught me that, you know what, I probably would have got killed that day if I went by myself, or
Yes.
at least severely hurt, and
You would have. Yeah.
my career may have been over. So, guys, what Angie's saying, ask for help. That's what this whole minis mission thing is. She's asking for not for help for her. She's asking help for these horses. But I do want to talk about Mr. Coco Loco because I know that's Angie's favorite,
He's one of them.
one of them.
One of them.
So he's up for adoption right now.
Yes. Coco Loco is still up for adoption.
So
He's
he's our
he
highlight horse of the day.
Yes, he stands about 34 inches from the withers, and he is sweet. He'll take the treats from your hand. Um, he does get shy, of course. You could pet him for a little while, and then he steps away because these guys need to learn how to be handled. But he answers to his name. I That's why I say Coco Loco. So he'll come to his name. So he knows when I call his name or somebody calls his name, somebody's going to give him a treat, or he's going to be pet, or it's feeding time, or what have you. And he used to have a buddy with him. He actually had two buddies, and both of them were adopted out. Um, and poor Coco, he's by himself, so he needs a home. So if anybody wants to adopt Coco Loco, definitely contact me. He's a good boy. I believe he's on the younger spectrum of the age group. I think he's only 2, but he's a good horse for somebody.
Okay, so Coco Loco, we need to get him a home. Angie, I know winter's coming soon,
Hmm.
sooner than later. We're ready into midway through August.
I know.
And I know your goal and your dream was by September.
Yes.
We may fall a little short on that, and that really sucks. Um, so I know I've seen it on the mini missions. I know we've talked about it. You're looking maybe to do have people foster.
Yes, I'm looking for foster homes because, in my opinion, the horses would be better off the hill into a home where somebody can keep an eye on them. Because when you're running around on 150 acres, nobody knows what's going on with you. And think about it: in the winter comes, if it's cold for day upon day, the streams are gonna freeze,
And the
and it's
streams
always a
are the streams. Are their water source? It's not like somebody gonna put water in a trough,
Right.
correct?
There is a pond and there are streams. They don't have troughs, only in the pen that uh we lure them into a pen and that has a trough. Then we fill that, and it's usually just an overnight thing that they're there until I get my trailer up to the property or somebody volunteers to trailer some horses down. Um, so there really is no daily check on the water, and that can be a problem in the winter. And we don't want it. We don't want them. We try to avoid any possible problem. We're trying to be hyper vigilant and trying to solve this before winter because it's harder for the horses to graze, obviously, and the water source would be dismal if we had very cold days. And last winter we did. We had cold days, you know, uh, all in a row. So I'm worried. Of course,
Yeah.
I'm worried.
So we need to get the word out there, guys. Whoever's watching this later on the replay, they'll be on multiple platforms, like I said. So you got a chance to watch this on Minnie's Missions, Back
Yes.
to Basics Facebook page, my YouTube channel, Remember Me Rescues Facebook page. I mean, I'm trying to get this information out to as many people as possible. So if you're watching this, share this stuff. We need to get fosters. We need people to get in touch with Angie. And she is going to screen fosters. I know Angie well enough. She's just not going to say, "Hey, I want a foster." If
Yeah.
you're, and something I said to all my dog rescues that I work with, Angie, I'm sure you're going to agree with what I'm going to say here. Is if you're in the want to foster for a pat on the back, we don't need you. We
Right.
need you to foster to help these animals, which is doing what Angie's doing, getting them used to being handled by people. I
Yes.
saw the I don't know if it was the blue-eyed one that I put out on
Betty.
Betty, the one I did the thumbnail about to do the intro for this has been adopted,
Yes, she has been.
and
Yes.
her baby, right? Or was she the one with the baby?
Betty did not have a
Oh,
baby.
okay. Somebody posted they got the one. I don't know which mini they got. Um, they got it home the first day. The son renamed it,
Yes.
and they
Yes.
were able to brush the mane
Yes.
day one,
Yes.
guys,
Yep.
for a horse that never was really handled except for by Angie.
Yeah.
And let
We
somebody brush its mane. Come on.
we've had some amazing people adopt these horses. And it's just I feel like there's divine guidance when it comes to the people who are adopting these horses because they come in and they some people will come to the farm or they'll see the picture or the video of the horses, and when they come to pick them up, they have this energy, and it's all about energy, as you know, and they have this calm energy and they have this intention of you're mine, I'm going to love you for the rest of your life, and you know, I'm taking you home. And the energy is so beautiful and so calm that the horses just cooperate with their new owners. And we had one young lady who just came, and I had a hard time getting the halter on the horse. She would avoid me, she would evade me, she'd come to me for treats. Um, but she knew what that halter was, or she didn't want that halter on her head. And this young lady, she just had this awesome energy, and she came with her husband, and she just sat sat there. She crouched down, and the horse knew that, this is my mom. This is my mom. And she was just, it was so graceful the way that she just got the halter right on to Betty. No, no, it wasn't Betty, but right onto the horse. And it was amazing. It was beautiful. It was great to watch, and I was in awe. Now I've been training dogs for a very long time. Horses are new to me, but I use my dog training techniques on the horses. Maybe it's not good, maybe it is. I don't know, but it's working for me. So hey, but she was amazing, and I love to see that, and I love to see the horses that went to be the therapy horses, and they're coming along nicely, and they're great, and it's just great to see these horses in homes where they're loved and worked with, and some kids get to love them.
Yep. It may, and I want to speak on your behalf, but I'm sure when you get like from Tamara, I think rescued the two horses from you,
Yes.
making them into therapy horses. She said, I don't know if you saw the comment she posted earlier. They've been a gift to us. The horses were,
Oh,
what a
that's
beautiful way to put it.
beautiful.
Their transition was great, calm, and they settled in nicely with my two other minis.
Yeah, that's
Guys,
awesome.
as a dog trainer, and I put it out here on the bottom of the screen, that energy is the most important form of communication. I know in our last episode, 4 weeks ago, whatever it was, we talked about energy with the horse that got injured, how our energy made the difference.
Yes.
It's a beautiful thing to see. And when you see it all click, and I don't care if it's from a dog training point of view or a horse rescue point of view, when you see it all click together, that's what makes my day, if that
Yeah.
makes sense. When I see the aha moment, as Oprah Winfrey would say, and you see that horse bond with the person, or the dog
Mhm.
bond with this person, or a human bond with a human,
Yes.
and it's all about energy. We don't need this. We need this for us, the verbal,
Mhm.
this bull crap. But the animals don't. They
Yeah.
can, because face it, you can say whatever you want. Your energy is never going to lie. And the
Absolutely.
horses told you that with that young lady that just sat down or
Yes.
squatted down. Her,
Yes.
she could have lied to you if she's blue in the face, and you may have believed her. But the horse
Right.
knew. The horse knows the
Yeah.
truth. So,
It
go ahead, Angie. I'm sorry.
I was just going to say it truly is poetry in motion. It truly is when it clicks, and not always is it that easy. Not always is it that the animal trusts, especially a lot of dogs that I'm sure you've worked with the rescues who have been abused in one way or another. They're less likely to trust so easily, but they do read energy, and energy is so important. And it really is. And it is a gift. It's a gift to recognize the energy. It's a gift to use your own energy and practice it, people. Whoever's watching, practice it. Even
Practice it
even
with your
practice your
friends.
energy. Yeah.
Practice your energy with your friends, your coworkers, because
Mm-hmm.
you can change the way people. This gets into my sermon, which I don't like doing, but um, guys, I'm telling you, from somebody who, um, the best is Tamira. If I say your name wrong, I apologize. Am I saying it right, Angie?
Which Tamara?
Tamara.
Yeah,
The
Tamara.
best is Misty has become an attention hog. She chases the others away, so I just pet her. That, you
Aw.
know what? That's good for a horse that never was handled.
Yeah.
But my preach to what I tell people all the time, and Angie knows me. Used to have a real bad temper issue. I used to fly off the handle very easily, and by practicing working on my energy, not necessarily animals, because it's hard to you'll never fool the animal. I worked on it with people that I entrusted into my circle, or they entrusted me into their circle, Angie and Joe, my wife, my family, and you try to use that energy in my everyday life to help people. It's not always because if
Yeah.
we help each other, we can help these animals quicker. I'm a firm believer in it.
Yeah.
So energy, I put it up here week in, week out. Energy is definitely the most important form of communication. Um, Practice it, like Angie said, guys.
Yeah.
Practice. Calm energy is so much better than all the other nonsense that we deal with every day. Um, but we're at the almost that magic hour mark, Angie. I know you have horses to take care of.
Yes.
Uh, you have a Joe to take care of. No, I'm kidding.
He's not here.
Just he's not there. Okay, I didn't know if he was watching in the corner or something.
He
So
could
I had,
be.
yeah. So I can't always be nice. Um, any closing words you want to say?
I mean, pretty much the same thing that firmly and truly believe is like, you don't have to be the perfect home. You don't have to be the perfect horse person or the perfect dog person. I mean, nobody's perfect. Let's face it. We all have our own things. But it's the intention that counts. If your intention is to love this animal and care for this animal for the rest of its life, and maybe you don't have a fence, because we actually have somebody who's still putting their fence in, and they want to adopt somebody, and we're holding that horse, but they have to put their fence in, and you know we're not going to deny them because they don't have a fence up. I mean, we're waiting for them to put the fence up. I ask for references. I call the references. And especially if they're referred by somebody who has already adopted from us and they vouch for that person, I trust it. I trust it. I cannot there is no perfect home. There is no perfect home. A lot of rescues will want the perfect home, and I feel that animals are being denied a loving home just because the person doesn't have knowledge. And they could be educated. People can be educated. People can be helped. Like I say, the way that we're housing these guys right now are in round pen panels and pop-up tents because I don't have the structures for all these guys on my property. Uh, if some rescues might not agree with that because it's not a sound structure. The tent could blow away. The tent makes noise and could spook the horse. But you know what? It is great for training. When the wind whips and that tent blows and makes noise, the horses get used to it. So they're not spooked at all because nothing happened to them. You know,
Right.
when I feed them treats, a lot of people don't agree with me feeding treats from the hand but I have a little shopping bag that comes from the supermarket and the notorious horse killer. Horses believe that those flying shopping bags in the wind are going to kill them. Most horses, but not the ones that I got, because you know why? I have some treats in those bags. And when I ruffle that bag and they hear that bag, they know that there's something good in that bag. It's not scary. It's not going to eat them. It's something that they're going to eat. So my training ways are,
You're
unconventional.
desensitizing. You're
Yeah,
desensitizing.
right, exactly. Not everybody would agree, but hey, it's working. So I'm not the perfect person, and I'm just trying to help. And I believe everybody out there can help. They can do their part. They can do something to help, whether you're helping me or helping somebody else, another animal or another rescue, another person. Just help each other, people. In these times, we need to help each other. That's all.
Amen. Angie, I love that closing. We got to learn to help each other, not wait for a disaster to happen to help each other. It
Yes.
seems like you see the best in people when something a natural disaster happens. You see people helping each other, and why can't we see that every day? And same thing, why
Yes.
can't we help the animals every day? I mean, there was just this, whatever's going on outside of the United States. I'm not going to get into the political crap,
Right.
but already all over Facebook is about these dogs in this country that they're willing to almost euthanize just to keep away from these bad people.
Oh
Um,
gosh.
so now we're going to run there. We're going to try to say, and but why are we waiting for all this? Why do we wait,
Yeah.
guys? If anything, with everything going on in the world with the pandemic or whatever you want to call it, don't wait because no guarantee of anything. So, Angie, I'm going to let you go take care of your horses. Actually, don't go too far because I'm going to call you once we finish this up anyway.
Okay.
You
Thanks,
can't get
everyone.
you can't get away from me that quickly. But with that being said, people, everybody, thank you for letting us into your home tonight, this Tuesday evening. We really appreciate the time you guys give us on this platform from Back to Basics point of view, from Minnie's Missions. Um, and as always, stay healthy, stay safe, and God bless. And together we can help one animal and one family at a time. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Angie, thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Bye
Have a
now.
great night.